Hello everyone, this is the day 13 of the Identity Foundation series. So in today's session, we'll be discussing about PBAC, policy-based access control. This is definitely sophisticated than the RBAC and ABAC model that we have discussed. And this utilizes policies to govern access to resources. We'll discuss how it explores the core concepts, its benefits, implementation considerations, and many things. So PBAC is an access control model that defines and manages access to resources based on the set of policies. Here, you're dealing with policies. You're defining a user's journey, okay, through policies. For example, JML or anything that you're doing, right, for that matter, you're always relying on policy. In the previous, you're relying on groups and then attributes, and now here policies. These policies specify the condition under which the access is granted. What is that condition? Which attribute, which location, which um, IP, where is that user coming from? Okay, which resource they want to access. And it definitely offers flexibility and centralized approach to access management, enabling orgs to enforce consistent security policy. Because in organizations, right, if you see, policies are the heart. Like you have the policies here, and then everything is getting governed through policies. Everything. Nothing is out of the policy. And the moment it is out of the policies, it's a audit failure. So, hence everything has to be inside the policy. Now, how you control the entire management of users through policies, what we call as PBAC, policy-based access control. So some of the core concepts of PBAC are, as I said, it is the heart of policies are the heart of PBAC. There are rules that define who can access what resource. So first we have subject. Subject is the user, you, me. We are the subject. And resource, what is being accessed. Could be an endpoint, API, database, application, anything. What action you are taking to, or what operations is being performed to actually go and fetch that data. At what condition? Day, location, time, what role is going to do, and what is the effect. That means what will that user do? If they try this, will they be allowed or denied? So all of this comprises the entire PBAC module. And these are the different components. So here we have the subject, which is for whom are you doing, for what you are doing, right? For which application, what is that action you want to take, under which condition, and is it yes or a no? Think of all of this and then to put together a policy and implement in any of your processes. This is how you manage PBAC. So attributes are definitely, because see, when you're creating a policy, and when I said you need to know the location and role and those kind of thing, you need to have the attributes there. Attributes are basic characteristics, right? Or properties with which you are defining a user. So it could be role, department, job, file type, creation type, any values you can take here. And here are some of the control attributes: the environment, context, the day, network, IP, all of this. Attributes, which role, department, and all the attributes you can see. And resource, what is the type? Is it a file, database, directory, SaaS app? And what sensitivity level that has? Is it confidential, public? So these are the type of attributes you will have. Now here also you'll have the entire PEP, PDP, PAP, okay, the context handler. So PEP, as we discussed initially, is the component that intercepts the request. So PEP is sitting here. And here you have the PDP. this is intercepting, this is evaluating, receiving the attributes from PEP. And the whole thing is happening in PAP, the administrator's point. Is the component that manages the policies. First is evaluating, first it is intercepting. Okay, you come here, take this request. Now you evaluate PDP decision. And then administration is okay, this should work here. It should, I'll give you centralized management. There you can manage all of this. That's how PEP, PDP, and PAP works. Context handler, it is responsible for gathering the necessary attributes from various different sources, right? User attributes, resource attributes from metadata, from XML, many things. Okay. Now, quickly going into the benefits of PBAC offers several advantages, and a lot of application organizations have started using it because it provides you a very flexible, centralized way of managing access control policies. First is, as the benefit I was just talking about, centralized policy management. Provides a central platform for managing access files, roles, and all. Fine grain. You can go up to a lot of, as we said, you can go up to attribute level, you can go up to sensitivity level, lot of level, and it is dynamic. And because you are doing all of this, helping you achieve your compliance goals. Okay. Then the implementation considerations are implementing PBAC requires careful planning and consideration of several factors. First is policy definition. Defining clear and concise policies is crucial for effective access control policies. Policies should be based on business requirement. This, a lot of the time people miss, and this, they'll just go with their own views. But anywhere we are putting our policies, right, it should be based on business requirement and security best practices. These two should be the heart of policy building. Without this, you'll not be able to build anything. Eventually, what will happen, you'll go end up creating wrong policies, and the management will be like, no, this is not what we wanted. Okay, so always stick to business requirement. Get the business requirement cleared from your stakeholders. Attribute management. Identifying and managing relevant attribute is essential for making informed access control decisions. I think by this time you would have already known about what attribute is. Policy enforcement and evaluation and administration. Choosing the right PEP is critical. You cannot be enforcing policies everywhere, right? And make sure you're evaluating, and evaluation policies are also reliable and scalable. Every time it is evaluating doesn't mean it is right. And eventually making sure PEP and enforcement and evaluation, once they work together, the decision and enforcement, then your administration is a success. It should provide you a user-friendly interface for creating, updating, and deleting policies. Okay, so that's the implementation consideration. Now we'll quickly move into comparing with other access control models. So we have covered these. The other ones we'll cover in the next one. So role-based access control. So PBAC is one of the several access control model, each with its own strength and weakness. But if I go with role-based, in role-based, users are assigned roles, and roles are granted permission. We discussed, right? Users assign roles, roles given permissions, right? RBAC is easier to manage than DAC, but may not be granular enough for some organization. ABAC, similar to PBAC as we were discussing, but focuses more on attributes than policies. ABAC provides fine-grained access control that can be complex to implement. Sometimes that is also true. Okay. So PBAC is basically a balance between flexibility, granularity, and manageability. And also do check in your organization what you're using. RBAC, ABAC, PBAC. We'll cover this in the next session. So examples and the questions, right? So an example in an organization is policy. Managers can approve expense up to $5,000. CFO must approve above 500 $1,000. This is up to, this is above. And policies, remote logins always require MFA. But how do you check the MFA? Through IP. The remote login, how do you know who the users are? Right? There could be some user personas. And then access to production database allowed only during business hours. Now, who's defining these business hours? What is the definition of production database? When it is saying allowed, who are allowed? So this is where you're going into granularity and setting up policies. The risk requires a well-defined business rule, complex, but and also needs accurate data. Sometimes a user HR can be tagged as an HR through some attribute, let's say a department. But tomorrow, if you tag the same department to a different team, suddenly they'll also start getting the same access to the policy. This is incorrect. Hence, it has to be crafted really well. And there are different tools like Okta, Ping, SailPoint, Entra, all of them provides these functionalities. So going back quickly to interview tips and then assignment. What is PBAC? You should be able to articulate it well and give example of PBAC. Use a tool as I've been already saying. Talk about the business justification. Talk about why that rule was given to you. Okay. So talk about and how initially it was being done. Because in your organization, it's not every time that you go and start the PBAC, right? Or anything. There has to be some level of ABAC and RBAC already working. Okay. And there is a business rule, definitely. So that's a combination of RBAC, ABAC, and business rule. And quick assignment, write one PBAC rule for your organization or a sample company and then put it on the chat. So with that, I wrap up day 13 and I'll see you in day 14. Thank you very much.